Cold case solved after 22 years. The murder of Leslie Preer, 22 years. That's how long a family waited for justice. That's how long a killer thought he had gotten away with murder. In 2001, a quiet Maryland neighborhood was shattered by the brutal killing of Leslie Preer, a beloved mother, friend, and pillar of her community. For decades, the case sat cold. The files collected dust. The evidence seemed useless. But in 2022, technology that didn't exist at the time of her death gave investigators a new chance. A chance to listen to the whispers left behind in DNA. A chance to trace a killer through bloodlines and family trees. A chance to unmask a murderer who had been hiding in plain sight. The man responsible wasn't a stranger, a random attacker, or a drifter passing through town. It was someone close, someone trusted, someone who should have never been there. This is the story of betrayal, science, and justice delayed, but not denied. Bethesda, Maryland. Spring of 2001. 55-year-old Leslie Preer woke up to what should have been another ordinary day. She lived in a comfortable home, surrounded by the life she had built, a life of love, friendship, and family. Her neighbors described her as warm, approachable, always quick with a smile. She was the kind of woman who remembered birthdays, who sent handwritten cards, who always found time for others. Her pride and joy was her daughter. The bond between them was unbreakable. And Leslie carried herself with the quiet confidence of someone who was respected and deeply loved. But by that evening, all of that would be gone. When she failed to answer phone calls and didn't show up for a commitment, friends grew concerned. Eventually, she was found dead inside her home. The brutality stunned everyone. Leslie had no known enemies. She wasn't involved in risky behavior. Her life was ordinary, safe, predictable. Who would want her dead? Detectives combed through Leslie's home carefully. There were no broken locks, no shattered windows, no signs of forced entry. Nothing was missing. Her valuables remained untouched. This was not a burglary gone wrong. It looked personal, as if the killer had been invited inside. Forensic investigators swabbed surfaces, bagged evidence, and took samples. Among the evidence collected, a partial DNA profile. But in 2001, forensic science wasn't what it is today. The DNA databases were limited. Matches were rare. And when Leslie's case went into the system, there were no hits. The trail went cold. And the case file, thick with notes, reports, and unanswered questions, was eventually shelved. For Leslie's daughter, the grief was unbearable. Losing her mother was devastating enough. Losing her without answers, that was a lifelong wound. Friends rallied around her. The community mourned. But in every conversation, one question lingered. Who would do this? The years passed, and Leslie's name faded from headlines. But for her family, there was no moving on. Every birthday, every holiday, every anniversary was a reminder of the void left behind. And for detectives who had worked the case, it was one of those unsolved files that haunted them, the one that kept them awake at night, wondering what they had missed. By 2022, the world of forensic investigation had transformed. Where once DNA could only confirm an identity if a suspect was already in the system, now it could be used to find relatives, family members, entire bloodlines. This process, called genetic genealogy, had already cracked some of the biggest cases in American history. The Golden State Killer, decades-old murders, Jane and John Does, who had been unidentified for generations. Cold case units across the country began reopening old files, submitting evidence once considered worthless, and getting shocking new leads. Leslie's case was one of them. The DNA profile from her crime scene was uploaded into genetic databases. And slowly, a family tree began to form. At the end of that tree, one name emerged: Eugene Gligor. To the outside world, Eugene Gligor was living an ordinary life in 2022. 45 years old, married, a father, a man who had built a career, who seemed on the surface stable. But detectives uncovered a darker truth. Back in 2001, Gligor had been dating Leslie's daughter. The relationship ended, but not without tension. And in the months that followed, his behavior raised questions. Had he been angry? Resentful? Was the breakup enough motive for murder? Investigators now had something they didn't in 2001: hard science. The DNA didn't lie. Confronted with the evidence, Gligor's calm facade began to crumble.
Hands up! What the f is wrong with you?
Hands by your back. Hands by your back. I'm here.
You're not listening. I got one already done.
What's going on? What is this about?
Got a warrant, bro.
You listen to us for someone gets hurt, man. That's how shit goes down.
Can you let my girlfriend know that?
Yeah.
We will. Can you tell me what this is about?
Yeah, you have a warrant.
For what?
I don't know. Have you done anything recently?
No.
I'm hot.
You got a warrant. Our boss is going to tell you everything about it, okay? That's all.
Okay.
He'll tell you, he'll give you a copy of it,
Okay.
and we'll figure out what we're going to do if the magistrate wants to keep you or let you go.
Okay.
So my boss will come here and tell you what the warrant's about,
Okay.
and then we'll go from there, all right?
At first, Gligor denied everything. But as detectives pressed, the weight of the DNA evidence bore down on him.
From the crime scene, the DNA that was taken, we actually have a sample of your DNA, and it was compared to the crime scene DNA, and it matched. So we know that you were there at the time when Leslie died.
But I never gave a sample of DNA.
That's correct. We obtained a sample from a discarded water bottle that you drank out of.
I don't know what to say. I have no recollection. I have no memory. I don't know what to say. This is all very bewildering, very strange. I don't want to incriminate myself with questions. You guys are professionals. I'm not. I don't know. I really do think I need an attorney.
Okay, that's fine. We're not going to ask you any more questions. There's no tears coming out of your face.
I'm very dry right now.
You're dry?
I'm very dry. I'm parched. I'm dehydrated. You can probably see my eyes are bloodshot red because I'm just tired and drained. I don't know what's going on. You want me to drink water so I can tear? Like, what the f is wrong with you?
I don't want you to tear. I just don't
What
want
are you trying to say?
I'm just trying to say that this seems a little put on.
In your eyes, it's guilty until proven innocent. I get it.
Well, honey, your DNA was in the crime scene. That's why, like, there's a reason.
There's due process, right?
Sure,
Due process. So you're saying I'm guilty before I've even been put into a court of law? I don't have any recollection of being involved with any of this.
You keep saying you don't remember and you don't have any recollection.
Well,
but if somebody was not involved, it would be an adamant, I didn't do this.
I didn't do it. I definitely didn't do it. Like,
the only person that knows is Leslie, and she can't tell us.
There was no escape. Finally, he confessed. He admitted that on that day in 2001, he went to Leslie's home. There was a confrontation, and in a fit of anger, he strangled her. The act was deliberate, personal, brutal, and then he left. For 22 years, he carried that secret, living his life as though nothing had happened. But the past had finally caught up to him. When Gligor appeared in court, he tried to frame himself as a changed man. He admitted guilt, but he wanted understanding. He told the court that he was not the same young man he had been. That time had reformed him, that he had lived a decent life since. But the prosecution reminded the court of what he had taken away: Leslie's life, her future, her family's peace. The judge listened to both sides, and in the end, justice spoke loudly. 22 years in prison. 1 year for every year Leslie's family had waited. Leslie's murder is more than a tragic story. It's a reminder of the power of persistence, the power of science, and the fact that time does not erase truth. For her family, it's not the ending they wanted. No sentence can undo what was done, but it is justice finally delivered. And for investigators, it's proof that no case is ever truly cold. Today, Leslie's name is spoken once again, not just as a victim, but as part of a powerful reminder that justice delayed is not justice denied. Her story stands with countless others solved through DNA genealogy. Stories where families finally found answers, where killers finally faced consequences, where the dead were finally given a voice. For every case like Leslie's, there are countless more waiting in evidence lockers, waiting for the science, the persistence, and the will to reopen them. And if this case proves anything, it's that time may hide the truth, but it can never destroy it. This was the murder of Leslie Prieur. A mother, a friend, a life stolen too soon. It was the case of Eugene Gligor, a killer who thought he had escaped, but who was finally unmasked by his own DNA. And it was the story of science, of detectives who never gave up, of justice, even after 22 long years. Because the past always has a voice, and in the end, it always speaks. For more stories like this, subscribe to the channel True Crime Spectrum. Don't miss the next case that reveals the darkest truths hidden in plain sight.